So, a special type of product is called a factorial, and those are sometimes used in sequences. So, we're just going to talk a little bit about factorials just to introduce you to them in case you haven't seen them before or it's been a while. We'll also look at how to find them on your calculator. Okay, so a factorial is denoted by the exclamation point. So, um, let's look at some examples. Okay, 4 factorial. What that means is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Okay, and then it's just a product that you just work out. So that's 12 times 2, 24 times 1. So 24. Okay, now 5 factorial then is actually 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So that's 20 times 6, 120. But another way to think about 5 factorial is if you know 4 factorial, right? So it's actually just 5 times 4 factorial. So in other words, 5 times 24, which is equal to 120. So it's used in a lot of sequences. It's kind of like a sequence itself, sort of, because it's based on that previous term. So here is actually like the definition, though, for the factorials. For n is greater than or equal to 0, 0 factorial is defined as 1. Okay, that is a definition. It doesn't make really a whole lot of sense. It's just needed for when you do problems with factorial. And then 1 factorial is defined as 1 as well. That one also, doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. That's just the definition. After that, then n factorial, any number greater than 1, oh, and sorry, n is greater than or equal to 0 and an integer. The factorials are only done on integers, 0 and up. So n factorial will be n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 dot, 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 right, times 3 times 2 times 1. Okay, that's n factorial. So here's another example. We could do 7 factorial. Okay, now 7 factorial means we'd have to do 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That's what it is. We also, if we already knew, we know 5 factorial is 120. So we could do 7 times 6 times 120, because that will work. But even that, I don't exactly know what that is. So we could use our calculator, either just to multiply out all the numbers. It's totally fine if you do that. But we also have a factorial button in our calculator. It's a little bit hard to find, though. So if you go to Math, and then see probability, arrow over to probability, and you'll see a factorial. It's usually used if in probability. If you've done probability before, you'll have seen factorial for sure. Okay, so it's number 4 there, okay? But I didn't type a number first, so I have to type 7 and then go Math over to probability, and then the 4th one. So that's equal to 7 factorial, and we find out that is 5,040. Glad I didn't try to multiply that out by hand. Boring. Okay, so there. Now, one other cool thing that I think is helpful with factorial is, let's say we had 10 factorial divided by, let's say, 7 factorial. Okay, so I don't know what 10 factorial is. I happen to know that 7 factorial is 5,040 right now. Okay, but think about this. This is 10 times 9 times 8 times 7654321. So that's times 7 factorial, right? And on the bottom, this is 7 factorial. So I can divide out all these, the 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So all this then is 10 times 9 times 8, right? So here's 10 factorial. So it's only 10, 9, and 8 because everything else is divided out. So that's what, 72 times 10, 720. Okay, but you can also use your calculator to calculate all the factorials if you want.